Alrighty, it's time for another 6mm arc video. Now, we're going to continue using the 112 match burner from Barnes. Today we're going to use Viterboy N540. I had really good luck with N540 with the 103 grain eld-x, so we're going to try that again today. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do a 10-shot ladder and then hit the range, and then we're going to come back and load some more. Now we're using 3 times fired brass. That was annealed before sizing. These hit the lands in my rifle at 2.354. So we're going to load them up at 2.335, which is great because in my gun I have pretty long magazines. We're going to start out at 26.2 grains and work our way up to 28.0 grains in 0.2 increments. Now I'm filming this after the range trip, so I will tell you we do not make it up to that 28 grains, so don't go out and think you're going to be able to load that high because this is too hot. Now the way I predicted these charges are kind of use Gordon's reloading tool and kind of fudge the numbers a little bit because they don't have the match burner on there. So basically just made up the load data, so don't follow this data. So we're going to go hit the range and we're going to see where our velocity is. GRT is predicting about 2,700 feet per second, so that'd be pretty impressive if we could get there. So let's go out there and let's see what happens. All right, we're out here on the range. Target is at 100 yards. This is my Savage 110 Switchback, 6mm arc. You'll see the information about the gun on the screen. Now you do notice this is a different optic. This is an Arken SH4 Gen 2, 6-24. You probably see this video before the video about the scope comes out, just because I want to use it a little bit before we talk too much about it. We are doing that ladder test with the N540. Now the gun is warmed up. I just shot 3 shots through it, so we should be good to go. Lab radar for velocity. All right, so our first round is 26.2 grains. This probably should be around 2,500 feet per second. Hopefully it's not too hot. Hopefully we're not starting too high. Now it is a nice day. It's about 75 degrees and nice and sunny. All right, lab radar is armed. First shot here. Gonna use that same dot that you see on the screen for all of them. All right, 2585. So a little hot probably. We're probably not going to get through all these. That piece of brass looks okay. The primer looks nice and round. Now this is the first time I've used CCI 450s in a little while, and the first time in 6 arc. Okay, so first one 2585. Next one here at 26.4 grains. Alright, that one was 2588. That piece looks okay as well. Primer doesn't look too bad. 26.6 grains here. That one jumped all the way up to 2630. Again, that piece of brass looks okay. No ejector smear, maybe just a little bit of primer cratering, which we're kind of used to seeing here. 26.8 grains here. Looks like they're going to group too, which is always good when you're doing a ladder, when you see a good group down there. Alright, that one jumped up 2644. 27 grains is next. Alright, so that one jumped 2670. Okay, that primer looks kind of weird as far as the amount of cratering on it. It's cratered pretty bad. It is nice and round. No ejector smear, nothing like that. I think we're going to shoot 27.2, but then I think that's going to be it. Because I don't want to push over 2,700 feet per second. That's just asking for trouble. It's probably asking for trouble to shoot this one anyway. 27.2 grains. Because we were predicted at about 2,700 feet per second. 2676, and that primer looks fine. Actually, this whole piece of brass looks fine. So against my better judgment, we're going to shoot the next one at 27.4. Now our group's starting to fall apart, but you know, that's to be expected with different loads and about 100 feet per second difference. Still not a bad group. All right, so that's 2,700 feet per second. There's an ejector smear on that one. We are going to stop there. So we definitely seem like this is going to be a powder that's definitely going to work. But yeah, there's an ejector smear on that one. We're 2706. That's where we're going to stop. So let's get back on the bench and let's figure out what we want to load. Alrighty, so we're back at the bench here, and we shot a 1.15 inch group with all, what was it, 7 shots that we ended up shooting, which tells me that hopefully this should group pretty well. Now we ended up making it to 27.4 grains before we got pressure issues at 2,706 feet per second. Now, looking at the graph there I threw up on the screen, you can see there's a couple flat spots. 27 to 27.2 was really flat, and it was a little bit flat from 26.6 to 26.8. Now, because we got into pressure issues at 27.4, I don't want to play around with that 27, 27.2. I want to play around with that 26.6 to 26.8. So we're going to go ahead and load up 8 shots at 26.7 grains. 3 of them that I'm going to pull here because I need to pull them, and then 5 freshly loaded, and we're going to hit the range to see how they group. So let's get out there and check it out. Alrighty, so it's the next day, and I've got a few rounds loaded up. We've got those 3 that we ended up pulling that we're going to shoot first to warm up the gun on that little target on the left. And then we'll shoot 5 newly loaded at that same load at 26.7 grains on the right, and we'll get velocity through our lab radar, and we'll see how it groups. Alright, so first shot here, which this is a cold bore shot with those rounds that we pulled. Alright, not bad for those 3 that were pulled. Velocity was about where we expected. Now, it'll be interesting to see if the 5 we loaded today are a little different for those ones that we pulled. Because when I pull these and shoot them, I usually just pull the bullets, I don't resize them, don't do anything, and then just weigh out new charges. So neck tension's probably a little lighter than what these 5 we're going to shoot here next. But those average 26.28 with an 8.2 SD. So we're going to go ahead and start a new series for the lab radar for these 5. Gun should be nice and warm now. And move over to that target on the right, and let's see how these group. Same exact load we just shot. Hoping this is a good one. Alright, pretty good looking group there. Velocity was pretty consistent too. Our first shot was a little higher as far as velocity than our other 4. Which seems like that happens a lot of times. That happened on our first out of the 3 too. Really not sure why that is, but let's see where we're at. Yeah, so those 5 averaged 26.24 feet per second with a 6.9 SD. But if we go to those shots, the first one was 26.36, then 26.19, 26.20, 26.26, 26.21. So really close to that 26.20 with every shot except for that first one, and the group looks pretty good. So let's get over there. Let's check out the target. All right, so what you're looking at here is on the left, the 3 shots that we pulled and reshot. Average 26.28 feet per second, 8.2 SD, and a 0.67 inch group. Then moving over to the right, the 5 shots that we loaded, 26.24 feet per second, 6.9 SD, and a really good looking 0.53 inch group. So really happy with this group, really happy with this method that worked today. Good SDs, good looking groups, really nothing to complain about here. Also think we're pretty safe on our pressure because we're about 80 feet per second below where we got an ejector smear. So I'm happy with that. Alrighty, so we're looking at the brass here. Now, this piece of brass right here is from our top load from our ladder test at 27.4 grains. That one that was 2,700 feet per second. As you look there, you can see that little ejector smear. Now, it's not a raised up burr or anything like that, and the primer's a little cratered, but that was a good place to stop. Now, these 3 rows here you're looking at were all loaded at 26.7 grains. As you can see, primers are a little cratered as well, which we tend to get that with this gun, so I'm not too concerned about that. No ejector smears, nothing really that looks weird with any of these. And if you'll notice, there's more here than I shot in this video. I took these out to 450 yards and shot them as well. You guys will see that video out here soon. But yeah, brass looks okay on the 26.7 grain load that we chose today. So you guys saw the brass there and you see those extra rounds. So you have to stay tuned and see these loaded and shot at 450. So really happy with N540 and the 112 match burner. I did just order a couple more boxes of the match burner because they seem like they're going to shoot, and with that high BC, I think they'd be a great choice in the 6mm arc, especially in a bolt gun where you can take advantage of that long overall length. So thank you guys for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Stay tuned for a upcoming video with arc at 450 and a video about the arc and optic. So thanks for subscribing, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.